Hi, and welcome to Hard Money Mike. Today we're going to go over how to make sure you maximize what you're getting out of a hard money or fix and flip loan. You know, a lot of lenders out there are talking about they lend up to 70 or 75% ARV, but they really don't. Now, when you're out there looking for fix and flip, hard money loans, whatever we want to call it, what you're going to find is most private lenders, most big Wall Street firms, they're always talking about they lend up to 70% of the ARV, or maybe even 75%. Just depends on the time in the market out there. But I'm going to show you a trick, or the trick that they do to make sure they never get to that 70 or 75%, and then actually help you find a lender that does maximize that. So if you're looking to maximize or get the most out of your lender, that's what we're going to go through today. One thing to remember when you're looking at fix and flip loans, there's a lot of other costs besides the down payment. You're going to have closing costs, the points, all those things are not included on what most lenders will give you. Also, you have your monthly interest payments, your insurance, other things that may not be included in there, plus 2 closings. We want to make sure we minimize how much comes out of your pocket so you could do more deals or at least get to that first deal. Typically, like I said, most lenders in this market will lend you up to 70% of the after repair value, the ARV, what you'll sell it for, what you think it'll be worth when it's all done. But they have another caveat in there. For their best clients in this market, they limit it to 85% of the purchase price, but they'll go up to 100% of the rehab. So when we do these numbers, what we're going to find is this little trick, the 85% of the purchase price. Unless you're over 80 or even 82% all in on the loan, they will never get you to your maximum ARV. One last thing before we dive into the numbers is this 85 and 100 is for their best clients. It's for their best clients in the perfect markets. A lot of lenders, when they get to smaller markets, they may cut this down to 80 or this down to 90. So they'll even lend less in smaller markets, and in rural properties, they probably will be down to, a lot of them are down to 65%. So this is just the best properties in the best areas, and this is what they do with the numbers. Let's dive in and find out exactly how they don't get to that 70% that they promise you. So let's look at a property that has an ARV of $200,000. So that's what you think you're going to sell it for. That's what the comps say. And remember, our lender is going to give us 70% of it. That's what their lendable amount is from the lender, is 70%. With that 70%, they're going to give you $140,000 max. That's the most that they will lend on this particular property based on the ARV, which is 70% of the 200, which is the 140,000. If you want to know why lenders only lend 70 or maybe 75%, I'm going to put up a little graph here that shows exactly where those numbers make sense for you. Because what you're going to see on this graph is after you take off the 70 or 75%, you take out the 10 or 15% for your profit, the real estate fees of 5%, lender fees of 7 to 8%, plus the closing, when you purchase it, when you sell it, maybe 2.5%, it equals 100%. So when lenders are lending at 70 or 75%, that's ensuring you walk away with some profit. Now let's look at an example. Let's say you're purchasing a property for $120,000, and you're going to put 20 grand into rehab. Gets you right to the 140 that they said they would lend you. But now we got to remember one thing. They're only going to lend you 85% of the purchase price. Again, they're going to lend you 85% of the purchase price only if you're in the right markets and you're the right borrower. So sometimes that's even going to be less. Best case is that 85%, and that looks like they're only going to lend you $102,000 of the purchase, but they're going to give you 100% of that rehab and escrow. They're going to put it in there. They're going to have you start the project, then they're going to give you the money as you go on. What we're showing here again is how much money is coming out of your pocket. For some people, that's perfect. They don't really care because they have a bunch of money in the bank or in their accounts. They're glad to put more money in. But the most of us, or even on some projects, you need less money in each project so you can do more projects. With the numbers, we're going to see that they're only going to lend really 122,000. So 18,000 is coming out of your pocket. That is what you're going to have to contribute just for the purchase and rehab. That does not count your closing costs, doesn't count your interest you have to pay monthly, or any other incidentals that are out there like insurance. Anything else that comes with the project has to come out of your pocket. So when the lenders are saying they're lending 70% ARV, what they do is they put these little caveats in there, these little kickers but they're only maxing out at 85%. Even though they go to 100% on the rehab, this 85% will always make sure they lend less than they can. Now let's just compare that to a lender, a true lender that lends to 70%, doesn't put in the kickers for the 85% or 100 or where the property is located, small markets, rural, anything else like that. Let's compare these numbers to someone who actually lends to 70%. What does it look like when a lender actually lends to 70% without all the kickers? They're going to lend to a true 140 as long as the property qualifies and you have the experience to pull it off. What that means is they will go to a true 140,000 just like we do at Hard Money Mike, which means the purchase is funded. And a true $20,000 is put in escrow, which then looks at each project. Just in this project alone, $18,000 less needs to be brought into closing just to close the loan, yet alone closing costs, everything else that goes on along with it, like we said before. One last kicker that most of these large lenders, and we know this is a great fit for certain people, it's just not a great fit for everyone. We just want to give options for people who are looking for more funding, because these people typically require 6 months reserve sitting in an account that they have to verify before. We just had to do a loan for a person just to give them the money to get the reserves to do a loan like this. So we do short-term small loans too, and one of the loans we see more and more is people actually borrowing for the reserves so they could get a loan like this. All these costs add up, all these numbers add up, which means you just have to have a lot more money into each project when you're looking at one of these ARV lenders who lend, 85 or even 90%. And this is not just a trick of math for someone who lends 70%. Even if they went up to 75% ARV on a loan like this, they're still going to be limited to the same amount, the same loan, because of this 85%. So it doesn't matter if it's 70 or 75% on this particular project. To hit that true 75% for some of these lenders who will go to 75%, you have to be north of 80% on your ARV. That means your purchase price in rehab alone need to be 80% or higher for them to ever actually hit that 75% that they said they're going to lend. That still means there's money out of your pocket, but there's really even more money out of your pocket when you get to that 80 plus. That means it comes out of your profits. Remember those numbers we looked at where the realtor is going to charge you something to sell it? The lender is going to take their interest and their points and the closing. All those fees are still going to be there. So if you're getting up to 80 or 82% on your all-in on your purchase and your rehab, that just means you're going to have to put more money into the project and you're going to get less out of it. And not to try to hide anything, because if a lender is going to lend 75% and 70%, these numbers stay the same. You could go and do the math, you could do the numbers. If they're lending 70 or 75%, they will still come down to the same numbers. You're looking for a true hard money or private lender that will lend to a true 70%. Not hit 85% or whatever they're all asking for nowadays. If you want to put the least amount of money into a project or even do more projects with the same amount of money, you need to find a true 70% lender, just like us at Hard Money Mike. We're here to make sure you make the best decisions for you. Like we said, maybe the 85% works for you because you have a lot of money in your bank and you don't have a lot of projects going. Maybe the 70% is the right fit. There's a right fit for every borrower in every deal. We just want to make sure you're in the right deal and understand your numbers. If you're looking for more tools to be successful in real estate, we have a lot of free tools over at hardmoneymike.com. If you have a deal right now you want us to look at, see how we can get you the best leverage, just email us. The email's below. Now, if you want to make more money on real estate deals, stick around and we'll see you on the next video.